difference is that you can get access to this, and this is 100% cloud-based. This isn't a plugin or anything. And you can get this for essentially going to the cost of going to like McDonald's. While the Webinar Jam, I think, is at least over $300 per year to use now. Webinars are the best-selling tool there is online right now, with some people seeing over 20% conversions, that's right, on just a laid-back webinar, not something that's even high-pressured or salesy. And these out-convert video sales letters, which is why you often see large ticket items being sold on webinars, because it just won't convert as well through a fake or a video sales letter on replay. Webinars are essential to marketing products because they create a sense of event around your ideas, information, and products or goods you're selling. This builds traffic and positive awareness, and webinars give you a live dimension to your selling, which you can teach and answer questions in real time to close people and get them to buy. And people are just happier to spend money with people that they know and trust, and nothing can do that better online than using webinars to sell. And webinars are an amazing list building tool. I don't know about you, but every day I see a picture of Lewis Howes on my Facebook trying to get me to opt in to his webinar to watch it, and Amy Porterfield. And the reason this is, and all the big marketers now pretty much use webinars to build their list, is because the conversions are so good. You can run things like paid traffic from Facebook ads to your webinar registration pages and webinar that you normally couldn't run to a regular video sales letter. And you can even do this even if the webinar is just on replay. So that being said, let's get into how you can create your own high converting webinar very easily. And first, we need to start at the Google Hangouts and briefly explain how these work and how you can make money with them for you or your clients. And first, it's important to mention, though, that Google Hangouts on Air is not a marketing tool. That's not what it was designed to do. And this is what essentially the webinar is going to run on, but it needs to be done with a third-party tool in conjunction with something like this Webinar Hero. It's going to turn it into the real selling experience that can register people and sell them. Now, if you don't want to do the live Hangouts on Air route, then the only other option is to use one of the older solutions, like GoToWebinar. But the reason that everyone's not doing that is because GoToWebinar is $400 a month to use, and you can only have 500 people at a time on your webinar. So that's kind of why only the rich are kind of getting richer, because they can afford that $400 per month, and everyone else is kind of falling behind because there's a high barrier to entry to do these types of webinars. So anyway, to get started with Google Hangouts, there's a number of ways you can start your Hangouts on Air. But one of the easiest is just to go to YouTube and click Upload. So then it's going to ask us to fill in some information about your Hangout. And then you can either have it start right now, or you can schedule it later, which is the time your webinar will go live, if you want to schedule it in the future. And then you just click Share. And then to start it, you just click Start the Hangout on Air, and that will open the controls, which you can use to interact with it. And also, you see these other things over here, and these can allow you, these are apps that you can activate if you want them on your webinar, which I'll explain. And also there's like a trailer thing that you can shoot a trailer or something like an introduction for your Hangout. But to start it, just click Start. And my browser is a little slow. It normally doesn't take this long. So this is where you invite guests onto your webinar. Now, these aren't the people who are going to be watching the webinar. These guests are going to be the people who like you're a co-host with. So these are, you can have up to 10 people on your Hangout. And these are going to be like someone you're doing a joint venture with or someone you're doing the webinar with. So with Google Hangouts, you can actually have unlimited number of viewers. So something like GoToWebinar, you can have 500 seats at max. Well, for Hangouts, you can have unlimited number of seats. So if you want to invite someone, you just type in their name or address. But we're just going to click skip. And then now it's going to load the Hangout. Okay, so now we have the option of starting the broadcast. I'm just going to turn the camera off, but basically what would happen is if you had the camera on, it would show your face talking. I don't have that set up right now. But what you can do is this would start the broadcast, and you can stop it. And then to close this or stop the entire Hangout, you go up and press Leave Call. And then these other settings here, this turns on the camera or off the camera. This is the microphone control. You can invite people if you didn't do that before already. And then over here are different apps you can add, which will make your Hangout a more interactive experience. So for example, you can use this chat one, the screen share one. So instead of recording yourself, basically you can hit the screen share button and it will record your screen. So what people can do is you can actually use PowerPoint in conjunction with the screen share, and you can have like your webinar can be PowerPoint slides. So it doesn't have to be your face or another presenter's face, but you can actually there's a tool in PowerPoint where you instead of making it full screen, you can make the PowerPoint just a window. And then you screen share, hit the screen share button, and choose that window to share. So it's like you're giving a PowerPoint presentation for your webinar. There's a question and answer app you can activate. You can capture a thing on the webinar. And the Hangout toolbox, we don't have to go through all that, but basically that will allow you to search and add some more apps. For example, you can do what's called a lower third. And if you just hit on to activate this app, what it would do is, I don't know if it's going to do it here because I have the camera off. But what it will do is it will show your name under who's ever presenting or whoever has the camera on them. It will show their name and some other information or website that you can add here to your Hangout. And there's different apps again you can go through to make your Hangout more of an interactive experience. And then finally, down here will show you how many people are watching it, if you're off air or not, and then the links part here will allow you to go to the event page, which you can go to start the Hangout or control it, the YouTube page, which is where they can watch it, and this video embed that you can embed the Hangout on your website or somewhere, and the viewers will watch it from there. So if you're using the Hangouts in conjunction with a third-party tool to do your webinar, this is the code you'd want to copy because it's going to embed this Hangout that people are going to watch in the web page that everyone's going to go to, like the webinar page. And the best part is that Google Hangouts automatically will record this webinar you're going to be presenting. And Hangouts typically rank better in YouTube and Google than just uploading a plain recorded video to YouTube. So you can use this to get additional traffic after you give the presentation as well. So you don't have to really be selling anything. Like you can do a question and answer session to get some content out. Then after it automatically records the webinar, you can add some keywords in and it will actually rank better in YouTube and Google because it came from Hangouts. And like I said, you can't really pull off a webinar just with the Google Hangouts, because if you give them this link to watch it with like the YouTube page, it's just going to kind of go to YouTube and look like a regular video, or there's not going to really be any way to register people or get them there all at the same time, stuff like that. So that's where the webinar hero comes into play that I want to show you. So let's go right back to that. So the webinar hero really make the Google Hangouts into a real selling experience. So this is a cloud-based solution. What you have to do is log in to your account. And you see the different tabs here, and you can customize each one of these tabs to do whatever you want for your webinar. But first, let's start at the Stats and Leads tab. And basically what this will do is it will show how many people, some statistics to how many people have gone to your landing page, your thank you page, how many people have checked out your webinar replay. And they have this really cool webinar master switch. So you can set the page display for this link, which is what you're going to send people to for your webinar, to each stage of your webinar cycle. So say you're not ready to do the webinar yet and you're trying to get people on board, capture their email address to send to the webinar. Well, basically then what you would do is you would have it toggle to the countdown page, or the this is the landing page. Now if it's time for the live webinar and you want people to see it, then you would toggle it to the live one. Or if you want it on replay, you can toggle it to the replay one, or you can do it to closed as well. And then this link here is this is what you're going to give people, or have them click to go and join your webinar or register for your webinar. Now, to get people on the webinar, you're going to have to capture their email address and get them to sign up. And that's where the landing page part comes in. And there's a lot of different ways that you can create your landing page. You can edit the headlines with their templates. You can edit the sales copy. We don't have time to get into every single detail, but basically you can see that you can edit just about everything, including this really cool Facebook Connect settings where they can just connect with their Facebook. So watch the webinar and you capture their email address that way. And you can edit in different opt-in forms, whatever one you're using, and change the date. And then you have the thank you page after they've opted in. Again, you can customize everything, give them the URL. If you wanted to give them a gift, there's a share to unlock the gift page, tickets, another countdown area until the webinar is live. Lots of customization stuff. Then on the live webinar, basically how this works is you are going to paste that embed code, the frame code that I showed you that your Google Hangouts gave you, into here. So whenever they click the link, they're going to see the Hangout on the page because you give it the live embed code, only it's going to be a lot more than just that video they're going to be watching, because you can customize a lot of stuff around it to make it look just like those GoToWebinar pages, and actually make it look a lot better than those. You can edit the background settings, the colors. It has a built-in question and answer area. You can actually edit, like turn your speakers up copy so that they're listening. You can have them invite other friends, edit a number to call if they want to join that way. And then another cool thing is that you can do live giveaways on the webinar. So if you're trying to pre-sell something like a software product that you're going to launch, and you want people to stay on the webinar to get a lot of attention, basically what you can do is do this edit a live giveaway, which will allow you to basically give you some text and a headline to enter your giveaway copy, along with a countdown timer as well. And then of course there's a webinar replay. You can set the webinars to just go on replay after, but it still has all those customization settings after it. And then there's very important is the live question and answer Now, the Google Hangouts, they have that question and answer tab, but that was recently put in, and it's really not that great. So you can actually use the built-in one to answer live questions people are asking, or you can integrate a third-party code. So if you have a chat system that you really like, that you want to integrate into your webinar to answer live questions, you can do that as well. Or something that people have done is they integrate like the Facebook one and then do a webinar and replay, and that really adds social proof because they see all these Facebook comments people add, and then the webinar is on top. And then there's stuff where you can integrate, you can actually have it automatically notify people about the webinar, like I think GoToWebinar does this, where you don't have to actually go and email them. You can integrate SendGrid, and it will notify them automatically about when it's going to start. And there's a lot of extra settings as well you can use to customize it however you want. So there you have it. It's very easy. Get your own webinar live and running. Very fast. There wasn't a lot of tech know-how and not a lot of headaches and not a lot of scary stuff like the GoToWebinar, where sometimes the technology